So today I want to go over 3 doctrines from one video. The first is called the Notorious Esau's the White Man Doctrine, used but not proven. And it goes a little something like this.
So-called white man went overboard.
Right. Now where they come from?
They're Edom. They're Edom. They're Edom. They come from Isaac. You want to read that account? Let's read that account. Give me 10 minutes.
Where's Japheth? Where's Japheth? Where's Japheth?
Give me Genesis 25. You mean Yapheth? Right. He's different nations.
He's different nations.
Different nations. Like Esau literally was. These are evil twin brothers, basically. Right.
Right.
So we're gonna read the account.
Well, that's what you.
It's the book of Genesis, chapter 25, and verse 23.
Bring it out.
And the Lord said unto her, 2 nations are in thy womb.
So he's talking to Rebecca.
Right.
And 2 nations are in your womb. What does that mean? 2 separate people.
Right.
They're coming from the same mother and father, but they're not going to be anything alike or want to even be around each other when they come out. Right? 2 nations.
Right.
Okay?
Jacob literally means hold one's heel.
Prince let me power with God. This is the book of Genesis, chapter
that's
25, and verse 23.
Right.
And the Lord said unto her, 2 nations are in thy
2
womb,
nations.
and 2 manner of people shall be separated.
They should be what?
Separated.
Brought out together.
Separated.
On the same path.
Separated.
They're going to be separate. Go ahead.
From thy bowels.
Right?
And the one people shall be stronger than the other.
And one people is going to be stronger than the other people, right?
And the elder shall serve the younger.
And the what?
And the elder shall serve the
So
younger.
whoever's born first has to serve his brother.
Right.
Go ahead.
And when her days to be delivered were fulfilled, behold, there were twins in her womb.
Right?
And the first came out red.
Came out what?
And the first came out red.
Notice what they say about the first. He came out red and what?
All over like a hairy garment.
And he was hairy. He came out red and hairy, right? What people come out red whenever they born?
Alright, now this always seems to happen. They, instead of going to the precept which is going to support whatever he's about to say, they ask a question. And it really is designed to not prove, it's just to build off of speculation.
So-called white people come out very red, right? They look like strawberries when they come out. And apparently they hairy too, so
Right.
hairy ass strawberries. Go ahead.
And the first came out red all over like a hairy garment.
Right.
And they call his name Esau.
They called him what?
And they call his name Esau.
Why do they call him Esau? Because he was the first person that they ever seen look like that.
All I can say is that this is a straight up lie. It's just, this is pride speaking right here. This is, if he was actually telling the truth, he would be pulling the precept, which would show, instead of him just telling what he's talking about.
He was the first person that ever had a white pigment. He was the first person that ever had a white pigment. He was the first person that ever had a white pigment.
This is what happened when people don't know how to think for themselves and they spend too much time on YouTube. Where in the hell did he pull anything that he read with his own eyes that said anything about a skin pigmentation? All it said was red all over like a hairy garment, and he failed to use precepts to tell this guy the proper understanding. This means that he does not know the proper precepts to get this guy the proper understanding, because more than likely all he did was just watch YouTube videos and copy what other people did, basically.
That didn't have a pigment. He was the first white man ever to come onto the earth. So that's why they called him Esau, because that means wasted away.
That's right.
So he had no skin pigmentation. So the sun didn't even like him.
Because technically, black is all and white is the absence.
And everybody has pigment on the earth except for Esau. Go ahead.
Verse 26. And after that, his brother came out,
Right?
and his hand took hold on Esau's heel.
And he grabbed Esau's heel, letting him know, like, yo, you go rule for now, but when I get this kingdom, it's mine forever. He was letting him know that, right? But how come they didn't describe his brother? Why didn't they describe Jacob? How come they told you that Esau came out red and hairy?
Look, if people are genuinely serious about the topic that he's talking about, I've already done a video on it. What I'll do is I'll attach it somehow to this so you can see the actual precepts being used, and then you will see the questions being answered using the Bible. Again, I don't want to be repetitive and keep doing the same thing over and over for newcomers, but this has been done already, and I know these guys are just making up stuff and repeating stuff on YouTube. So far, he has not used one precept to substantiate any of these claims and theories. This is just repetitive YouTube doctrines that he doesn't realize he's making up and regurgitating. He doesn't realize, I'm gonna say, and I don't like to just group everybody, but basically that's what it is. What camps don't understand is that Esau being red, he's covered in blood. Jacob wasn't covered in blood because he came out second. That's why you don't see Jacob being identified the same exact way. Again, I have precepts in another video. I'll just link it so because I can support what I'm saying. I'm not just throwing something out. The Bible says this, so let's continue.
Because he was the first person to ever come out looking like that. Everybody else had pigmentation that looked like each other, right? Esau didn't. Go ahead.
The book of Genesis, chapter 25 and verse 26.
Bring it out.
And after that came his brother out, and his hand took hold on Esau's heel, and his name was called Jacob. And Isaac was 80 years old when she bare them.
Right. So Isaac was 80 years old, so he's 60 whenever she bare them, right? So he was pretty old whenever he had his children, right? And he having twins, and he having twins, and he having twins, and he having twins. So you know what I mean? So now we have the clear depiction on Jacob and Esau, right?
No, you don't have a clear depiction of Jacob and Esau. All you have is just some guy who watched YouTube and just repeated the same thing he heard without doing any type of checks and balances. Now I want to review the second topic of this video, which is chariots are clouds, but are spaceships too. You can see it for yourself right here.
These are the chariots that we read about in Isaiah 66, that the Lord's going to come with his chariots like a whirlwind. Yeah, you know how, you ever seen, what movie is that? Will Smith, Independence Day? Right. You ever seen that movie? How the spaceships come? The only thing that they got wrong is...
Do you believe in space?
Come on now. Even the sky is called a heaven.
Because
Right. No, we don't believe in no space. We believe in what the Lord said.
What a big and obvious contradiction. So he believes in spaceships but doesn't believe in space. You can't make this up.
the sun and the moon would be in the right.
Right, the first sun and the moon are in here. Yeah, they are in here. We ain't spinning around
Right.
666,000 degrees,
Right.
just going around somewhere, and the sun and the moon flipping around us. That's some stupid fool's idea. And guess who thought of that? The devil, the damn deceiver. Bring that out, huh?
This is the book of Psalms, chapter 104 and verse 3.
Bring it out.
Who led the beams of his chamber?
Talking about the chariots. Go ahead.
In the waters. Who maketh the clouds his chariots?
Who maketh those clouds what?
Who maketh the clouds his chariots?
Right, because they call them unidentified flying objects. Right, because they call them unidentified flying objects. Right, because they call them unidentified flying objects. The Lord calls them clouds, right? He calls them chariots, right? Go ahead.
This is the book of Psalms, chapter 104 and verse 3. Who led the beams of his chambers? In the waters, he who maketh the clouds his chariots, who walketh upon the wings of the wind.
Right. Those are actually chariots of the Most High God. That's how he's going to come back. That's how he's going to come back to destroy this world, bringing his angels.
On the white horse.
All right, so you have to literally add spaceships into what he read. It literally says, no, it don't even mention spaceships. It just mentions water and the clouds. It directly says and expresses the clouds as the chariots. So instead of him showing the actual meaning of this, he failed to do that and I'm just going to come up with spaceships. But what we do here is we're going to dive into this. All right, so the waters and the clouds that this brother clearly doesn't know that he's reading about in the precept that he just brought out actually connects with other places. Jeremiah 51:16, when he utters his voice, there is a multitude of waters in the heavens, and we know the heavens is twofold. There's the kingdom of heaven, and it's also in reference to the sky. And he causes the vapors to ascend from the ends of the earth. Israel also is in parallel with the heavens being scattered across the ends of the earth. Israel is these waters. As I move forward, this is going to explain that these waters are people. The people is Israel. These are the clouds or chariots. You can see this clearly here as we prove all things. Revelation 17:15. And he said unto me, the waters, see how this is all in connection with waters, which you saw where the horse sits, here it is, are peoples, multitudes, and nations. So we see clearly here that waters and people are synonymous in reference to what this brother was talking about, again, that he didn't understand because he ran off to spaceships like a guy that literally just does nothing but watch YouTube all day. He lacks the understanding that these chariots are people because they're water. See, these waters are we just read it, they're rising, there is vapor, so they're separated from other people that are lower than it, because the Most High's ways are higher than our ways. That's what this brother fails to understand. So I'm just gonna say it's spaceships. That's very unlearned. All right, so now this brings us to our third and final topic called the Magic of CrossDescendancy. Ashkenaz is now an Edomite, and it starts off like this.
I'm trying to show you. In Japheth has a son named Gomer. Gomer had a son named Ashkenaz.
Right.
These are Ashkenazis.
Ashkenazis, right.
So one of
They're
our
Khazars,
right.
too.
Khazarim, right?
Right.
Come from the Khazarim.
Right.
They started with.
You know who they are?
The Bolshevik
They're
war.
the Shalom. They're the grandchild of Esau. They're Esau's grandchildren. What'd you say? Oh, yeah, they're the children of Esau.
No,
The grandchildren of Esau. Right, that's Esau's grandchild.
Japheth has a son named Gomer. Gomer
Right.
had a son named Ashkenaz.
Right. That's Esau's grandchild.
Everything this guy seems to say is coming straight out of YouTube. It's not out of the Bible. Genesis 10 from the top. Now these are the generations of the sons of Noah, Shem, Ham, and Yapheth. See, so this is the man that he's talking about. So for those people who are YouTube indoctrinated, here's a visual for you. This precept literally looks like this. Let's continue. Now verse 2 goes into the sons of Yapheth, Gomer, and then so forth and so on. So in relevant part, this is what we see. And on our visual, it continues on and looks like this. Alright, so now finally in verse 3 we see, and it says, and the sons of Gomer, Ashkenaz, and that's it in relevant part. So on our visual, it will now look something like this. Now that we've used the biblical account to establish our visual, where on our visual from the biblical account do we see that Ashkenaz is a grandson of Esau? You will be waiting for that answer forever because it does not exist. Esau, for one, wasn't even born yet. Second, Esau is through the Semitic lineage, having nothing to do with Yapheth. This is why he shouldn't have blew that guy off and taken him serious, but instead he was just feeling himself. He was just He thought he was the wisest guy just because he watched YouTube videos and regurgitated the same old lies. So as far as him addressing these 3 topics using truth, he failed to do so straight across the board. Camps are not the truth. The Bible and the word is the truth, and people tend to forget that. That's all this was about. That's all for now as it is written, and I'm out.